What's too close to the mic to where it's like it gets distorted?
You're fine.
Yeah,
You're gonna be good.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, as long as you're not like you're good. Hey guys, and welcome to Break Time, episode 43. I'm Alex.
I am Iman.
And I am Ethan.
And thank you very much for tuning in to this very large episode of Break Time. We'll get into that just in a moment. But guys, like always, if for some reason you want to skip around, kind of see what we've talked about, you can go into the description, check out all the different conversations that we had, and also have the timestamps in case you want to skip around to hear specific conversations. There's also a link to our Teespring store if you want to support the podcast in that way. So today, our guest is someone very special, someone very muscular, someone who goes to the gym very regularly. Iman, welcome. Our good friend Ethan is here. Ethan, can you just say hi to the camera?
Hello. As I said, my name is Ethan. Engelbert is the last name, so learn it, remember it.
Okay. So, and then we don't acknowledge the camera anymore. But, Ethan, so for people who might not know, how do you know Iman and I?
So I love it. So I'll start with Alex. You know, most recently I met Alex. At Best Buy, and it was pretty serendipitous because ironically that's how I met Iman. We were working together previous, and Alex shows up to see Iman. Yeah. So coincidentally,
I was just checking on my baby, making sure he was doing good, making sure he ate his lunch.
Come make sure he's looking right at where he came.
Make sure he's looking right.
You know.
I'm like, you ain't gotta pick up bitches with his collar looking like this.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
So, Alex came into the store, and Iman introduced me to you, and it was pretty. It was kind of that, from at that moment it was just great. It was three fantastic, conversational people in an environment, and then it just kind of struck up from there. And then obviously another time, we were all together again. We were at a party, a very special party, of a very close friend of mine's birthday. And I don't really get to see him very often. He lives on the other side of the world, but is Iman. So it's pretty great.
Yeah, we would talk more about it, but we actually have a previous podcast on it if you want to go check it out. No, just plugging in old shit. Real quick, before we get into the thing we got to take, my favorite memory that I have, or one of my favorite memories that I have at that party, because I was only there for like 2 hours. I was just chilling. Yeah. And so it was before it got real crazy and Iman had all the other shit going. But just one of my favorite things is I remember I walked over to you as I was finishing a drink, and you were just kind of talking to me, and you went like, hey, do you want a drink? And I was like, oh, well, and then you went and got me a whole other drink. It was handing it to me.
Were you lit at all at that party, man, or were you sober?
I was a percentage of lit. Okay. I escalated throughout the night, but I didn't get to a drunk level, in a sense. I was
kind of buzzed?
Yeah, buzzed. Yeah, I was heavily buzzed.
Okay. I feel like...
I was drunk. I wasn't shoisted.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Shoisted is like, I'm definitely slurring my words.
I get what you mean. Where you kind of know. Yeah.
I don't want to drive by myself because I won't be able to properly see if I'm in the lanes or not. That's what I'm need somebody.
Okay,
Fucking Devin drove home, stopped at his girlfriend's house, damn near had sex with his girlfriend, continued the rest of his way home.
Damn near?
To Lavernia. Hold up, listen. To
Lavernia. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Does not have any recollection of it whatsoever.
What?
Holy shit. I'm surprised he didn't kill anybody.
That's what I'm saying. He fucking might have. He doesn't remember.
My favorite part of that story is how you said he damn near had sex with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So what happened? He got there, beat her over the head, got her undressed, and then the dad walked in, so he left?
Yeah, he's right there.
He didn't get
good. He just had an epiphany at that moment, saw what he needed to see, and said, okay, I'm good on this.
That's
that he was so drunk it just wasn't happening, and he was like...
Oh, that's...
and then he went, yeah, Iman, so I decided not to have sex. Okay, so real quick, guys, as we get into this, we're going to go ahead and we're bringing back a little segment that we like to call Vitamins of the Week. Iman, can you tell the lovely people what this is and why we're going to take it at the beginning of the podcast?
Who's Iman? Look, I didn't spend
16 I'm sorry. Dr. Augustus has now joined us. Dr. Augustus, can you tell our lovely viewers at home what this pill is?
Look, Dr. Augustus ain't got time for you broke niggas, so I wear the glasses now. Good to see you guys back. I've been spending a lot of time studying off the coast of Cabo. Had to get my mind right. Had to get my money right. I'm good. Let's hit it. So I come to you today bearing some pretty extreme shit, my friends, okay? It's just B3. It's just B3, but it's what's called in the medical world a super dose of B3, a very high dosage of B3. Yes, I'll have my assistant get the bling for you motherfuckers. Got a flex on
we
you
just
broke
want to
motherfuckers.
let people know how well put together Dr. Augustus
Absolutely.
is.
Got the rollie on. Was not from Walmart. Fuck what you heard.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave the diamonds over here, Dr.
Yeah,
Augustus.
go ahead. Kind of heavy. I don't want you straining yourself to pick them up. So it's just a very high dosage of B3. What B3 does is it flushes your system. It's a vasodilator. Vaso, what did we learn? Vasovascular, veins, dilator, relaxant. It's going to relax the veins, calls for a maximized blood flow.
This watch is fucking broken.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Talking about.
it is. Look, there's no fucking clip to it,
Look,
bro.
sometimes
It's inaccessible at
Sometimes
this
the
point.
interns don't understand what high fashion things are. So this is a fucking unsolved Rubik's Cube to
Just shut
him.
the fuck up. You finish your thing. Finish your thing.
Anyway, so it's gonna cause your whole system to flush. It's gonna cause all the blood vessels in your body to relax, even on the skin. So you're gonna have a lot of blood rushing to the outer layers of your skin. You're gonna feel really fucking hot. Your ears gonna start burning. Your face is gonna get bright red. You're gonna get really hot. It's like you're gonna be in a sauna. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this, and in about 20 minutes, maybe, hopefully, we'll start feeling some shit, guys. Toast. Look, just don't freak out, guys. It's gonna get pretty intense, okay?
Maximum flush.
Maximum flush.
You just swallow it?
Yes, sir. Need some water? This is my girlfriend.
No, it's okay. I got Pepsi.
It's gonna drain your toxins, okay? It's gonna rid your body of toxins and rejuvenate the mind. It's gonna cause a little endorphin rush. You're gonna feel really relaxed when it's over. I use it to go to sleep sometimes. What the fuck do I have these glasses on?
I don't even remember you putting them on, to be completely honest with you.
Oh, shit.
What's up?
I guess Dr. Augustus took off.
Doctor Who?
Don't worry about it.
Did you go to the restroom?
I don't feel like it.
Okay. Regardless.
That's weird.
So, obviously, our boy Ethan's here. We're going to get into some great conversation with him here in just a moment. We're also going to be feeling that B. What is it again?
B3. Nice.
B3. I don't know why you know. But, right before we get into conversation and shit, we're going to start off this episode like we do every episode. And I'm going to ask you guys how your week was. But first, I'm going to start off with my boy Iman.
Yeah, man.
Iman, how was your week, bro? What have you been getting into? What's new in the world of E-Monster?
Man, you know what, dude? I've been wanting to try this place, man. Really nice place. It's called the Gray Moss Inn. Okay.
The Gray Moss Inn.
My homie Rob. You know Robert from Best Buy?
I do know Robert from Best Buy.
Old OG motherfucker, man. He knows what's up.
It's the guy right there.
He knows what's up.
He does.
So I'm like, fuck these young motherfuckers, man. I want to go on a
man.
nice date this week. Where
Gray
should
Moss?
Yeah, the Gray Moss Inn.
Where is that?
I'll get to it.
Okay.
I said, fuck these young motherfuckers, man. I want to go on a nice date, but I need some OG advice. Go to Robert. He was like pushing. He's over 40. I'm like, hey, man, where should I take my lady, man? Like, what's some spots? He's like, the Green Moss Inn. I was like, what? You know how he fucking talks.
Yeah.
You know, the Green Moss Inn. I was like, what the fuck is the Green Moss Inn? It's some small, it looks like a house, but it's a restaurant. It seats like 20 at most, right?
Okay.
It's nestled in the fucking forest in the hills of Helotes, and it was built in 1929.
What?
Yeah, it's one of the most haunted places in San Antonio, the oldest restaurant in San Antonio, and voted the most romantic restaurant in San Antonio. Chicken was a little dry, but we'll look past that. It was a fucking great time. We had a great time.
So where's it again?
It's I'll get you the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, we don't want to tell the people, so they
I
don't
can't
go
even think of it, dude. It was
over inundate this place.
I feel like we're gonna fucking run into Osama or some shit. We were nestled in the forest, like we were hidden out there. Yeah, so it was a good
Sounds
time.
nice
man.
as fuck.
It was great.
Can you smoke a cigar out there though?
I believe so. They have a nice ass patio. Yeah, man.
Sounds
It'd be
great.
blasphemous if he couldn't, but so that was the highlight of my week, man. Just been working, training for this new job, saving lives, and
Saving lives.
trying, and you know, that's what I've been up to, man. Let's pass it to Ethan, man.
Yeah, Ethan, what have you been up to, man? How's your life going? What's going on currently this week?
Yeah.
Because I know if I give you more than a week, you're gonna keep going forever.
Yeah.
But
The week might be generous, but I surely shall tell you. So,
yes, sir.
It's been a pretty significant week, as the past 3 or 4 have been.
Mm-hmm.
Transitional period from Monday to Thursday was very accumulated, I guess you would say. Or how do you say, accumulated of momentum. So it was I'm climbing this week very much. Yeah, it's a very interesting week. So just to, and we're definitely gonna go into these topics later on, but Monday completely cut all ties with my previous girlfriend. Okay, as well as a friend of mine, and then Tuesday. Began a new form of perceiving the way I work out.
Okay.
Yes. So it was a pretty interesting week for me. I'd say my favorite part was the fact that I've been to the gym every day this week.
Yeah.
And I've been working more hours this week than I have in the past 2 months.
Okay.
And I've actually reduced my required sleep time. Down even further. Yes.
Why?
How the fuck do you do that?
That's major mystery, right? Yeah, that's probably the hardest thing that's been in my life over the past month to cope with is the fact that I have an issue with oversleeping.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So you're not undersleeping. You're taking back your sleep time to a healthy level.
Are you getting your?
I guess I'm taking it from 7 to 9 hours down to 5 to 6.
Okay. Well,
so in a sense, yes,
healthy, man. Come on, you don't want to burn out.
Well, and that's all the time what everybody says. But at the end of the day, when I just to backtrack here for a quick second. By the way, that's how my week was. That was it. It was pretty much that. So when I played football my freshman year in college at the D2 level, we had freshman workouts, and I was trained to wake up at 5 a.m. Go work out by 5:45. Go to class from maybe 8 or 8:30, depending on what class time it started, till at least about 2 in the afternoon. And then I go to midday workouts, and then I go eat. Of course, I'm eating in between, right? And then I go to night practice, right? Because I'm not playing my freshman year. I'm redshirting, just a ton of extra practice. And then go home and do my homework. Right?
Yeah.
And then by the time I'm done with everything, and then relax, bring myself to a level where I actually can fall asleep, peacefully, right? It's 12, 12:30, maybe even 1 a.m., and sometimes pushing it on that. And then the cycle repeats itself Monday through Friday,
Absolutely.
So you can definitely function on maybe 5 to 6 hours
it was
of sleep.
It's conditioning yourself kind of back into it.
There you go.
No, I feel you, man. The past year, I've been waking up. I don't do it anymore as of recently, but the past year, I've been getting up at 4:30 to go to the gym just because I had weird work hours and I had to squeeze it in. For a while, you get it. For a while, you fucking feel like you're the shit, man. You're doing it. You're like, what are boundaries? I have none. You feel like a fucking warrior. But that shit catches up to you, man. You may feel good, but your adrenals, dude, it's all about your adrenals. I've been learning a lot about that at my new fucking job. Everything falls back on your adrenals. That's going to regulate your hormones, okay? If you're not giving enough time for your body to reset, which is sleep, it's going to just compound, dude. It's gonna compound. I just spit every fucking where.
Well, I feel that. I've been spitting on the table this entire night.
It's gonna happen. So, it's gonna be intense.
Let me build off of that right there, because I like what you're saying. I know you're gonna keep going. So before you change topics or change direction, I think that if I and I may be wrong, so correct me if I am, please. But isn't the REM stage of sleep the most effective stage of sleep where the regeneration happens?
Yeah,
in
I
the
think.
body?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I had a Fitbit for a while, right? The accuracy of them, forgive me, I may not know, but I followed it, and I went through multiple short stages of REM sleep throughout my night, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's just say that because maybe humans, right, and us in general, and our population doesn't fully understand what sleep is, right, and what happens during the sleep process, right? So what if you can extend your REM sleep? Because you can't, maybe I won't go too deep into this, but maybe you can extend your REM sleep because you're conscious when you're sleeping, so you can feel when you're going through REM sleep. You know what I'm saying? So instead of facing 30 minutes to 45 minutes and then coming back out of your REM sleep, maybe you can stay in there for about 3 hours, 4 hours, and get maybe the same or more benefits, give or take, right, more or less.
Hacking the quality of sleep, hacking your REM sleep, right?
Absolutely.
It's kind of like it's kind of like how do you fucking put it? It's kind of like it's kind of like when they say the amount of nutrients that you should get from vegetables in a day is like a basket of fucking vegetables.
Yeah.
And there's no way you can eat all of that normally. So then that's why people juice and shit.
You get a fucking multivitamin.
You get it in a concentrated form.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the same thing, getting a concentrated form of the sleep that's only specifically helping you instead of like Iman said, kind of like the fat there that you don't necessarily need.
This is all fun speculation. You could be right, I could be wrong. But I don't know, man. Joe Rogan actually just you watch the Joe Rogan podcast?
I do watch the Joe Rogan podcast.
Shout out to the Joe Rogan podcast.
Shout out to him.
He just had a fucking sleep expert on like 2 days ago, and he got all into sleep, dude. And I learned so much crazy shit, dude. But he was saying we think it's 6 to 8 hours, but research is showing that it's actually 7 to 9 is what your body requires. And I don't know how long you have to stay in REM sleep, but like REM sleep is very important. And the fact that you're getting these short bursts of REM sleep, do you dream every night?
Absolutely.
Every night? So you're getting some quality fucking sleep then, man.
Do you not dream every night?
Not every night, no.
I have a dream every fucking night.
Every single night.
Every night. I like sometimes the dreams are definitely more in depth, and sometimes I wake up and it's like I was in a fucking grocery store. Like it's like little shit, and sometimes it's like my movie does a multi-stage, or my head does a multi-stage movie.
Yeah.
And like, you know, but I definitely dream every night. Do you not dream some nights?
I don't dream every night because I don't get my full 8 hours. Weird. I get fucking 3 to 4 hours a night. Yeah, man.
Dude, I would like in school, like when I would fall asleep for like 10 fucking seconds, I would dream.
Well, that's sleep deprivation.
In 10 fucking seconds. That's probably true.
Yeah. If you're going into REM sleep in class, you're definitely sleep deprived.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was just because I was fat and tired. Well, you know, y'all are sitting here talking about your experiences with sleeping.
No,
bro. No. I was gonna tell you about my experience with sleeping.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I go to bed, right? It's like fucking 10 o'clock,
and
I go to sleep, and then it's hard, bro. 'Cause I wake up at like 8 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause I gotta be at work by like 9 or 10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's nuts. You know, I get like, what is that? Like almost 10 hours of sleep. It's nuts.
No, but you gotta subtract the part where you go to the gym at 4 in the morning, right?
I eat at gyms in the morning.
Oh shit.
And then it sucks because I gotta get ready and shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's pretty hardcore, dude.
Yeah.
You're a bad motherfucker, yo.
So just real quick, so I can get it out of the way. So as far as my week went, I worked and saw Avengers. That was it. Like my whole week this week was like gonna get through today so that I can get through tomorrow. Then I'll only be 2 days away from Avengers.
Yeah, something to look forward to.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then saw Avengers last night. Came home, stared at my fucking wall for like 30 minutes.
Why'd you do that?
And then went to sleep.
In other words, what did you do while you stared at the wall?
Nothing, bro. I don't want to spoil it for you because I know at this point y'all haven't seen it. But like I saw that movie and the movie ends and it was
one of those.
It was just one of those movies where it ends and everyone was silent.
Okay.
No. I'm not gonna go. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else. But it's just like I had to go home and I had to process.
Okay.
The movie, just because there's a lot of cool stuff that happens.
You're actually giving me a lot of anxiety just by saying that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the caffeine pill talking.
Yeah, or the niacin, or the fact that I'm really excited to see the movie.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, my
or all the cocaine we took right before we started.
I'm feeling it already, bro.
Bro, no shit. He was sitting here talking about his week. And in my head, I'm sitting here listening to him, and I went like, my nose kind of itches, my back itches. Am I itching everywhere? Am I itching everywhere?
You feel it in your ears first.
I felt my lip. I feel it in my nose. You know, I was like, oh, here goes.
Maybe it's psychosomatic. Don't overthink it, guys.
Don't overthink what?
True. You fucking crackhead. You'll know what it is.
Okay, so Ethan, I want to ask you something because you came in and you had Ethan is obviously on the podcast. He's a great guy. One of the more intense people that I've ever met because he's so in tune with himself. He's so overly honest with himself. Mm-hmm. He knows when he fails. He knows when he's doing good. He knows what he's striving for and stuff. Cool guy. Very, very... It's a very limited amount of people that I know that can be honest with themselves. Even fewer who are to the extent that Ethan is. So Ethan... was someone I was really excited about talking to. So, Ethan, you came in and you had like a book and everything, and you had like a whole thing that you wanted to kind of talk about, and I want to see if we could get into that.
Yeah, and right before I do, I just like to say that a shout out to Break Time Podcast for having me on the show. You know,
pleasure's always mine, my
beautiful.
friend.
It's beautiful. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Absolutely.
You know. So, what we got here is by Ayn Rand, The Virtue of Selfishness. So it's a very interesting book. You know, I've only read the back. You know, I've had it for 2 years, so it is what it is. No, I just got this book a week ago. I
believed it.
I know.
I was like, what the fuck?
How could you not?
I was like, you know what? Never mind.
He's like, wait, this guy knows nothing about this.
I was like, bring the girl in.
Yeah, I thought this was just show and tell, so that whatever. But no, so granted,
I got a book.
I did start reading it 3 days ago, and I only am such far as a couple of pages into the introduction. But I would just like to read these 3 quotes that she opens the book with.
Go right ahead.
It's very nice.
This is nice. He's serenading us.
Ethics is not a mystic fantasy, nor a social convention, nor a dispensable subjective luxury. Ethics is an objective necessity of man's survival, not by the grace of supernatural, nor of your neighbors, nor of your whims, but by the grace of reality and the nature of life. It's interesting, right? So number 2 here, the objectivist ethics proudly advocates and upholds rational selfishness, which means the values required for man's survival, which means the values required for human survival, not the values produced by the desires, the feelings, or the whims, or the needs of irrational brutes who have never outgrown their primordial practice of human sacrifices. I'll go over that again because I messed that word up. So listen to this. Rational selfishness are the values required for human survival, not the values produced by desires, feelings, whims, or the needs of irrational brutes that have never outgrown their primordial practice of human sacrifices. Primordial practice of human sacrifices. So, ever since their first publication, Ayn Rand's works have had a major impact on the intellectual scene. That just kind of goes about her morality. She is known for objectivism, and her unique philosophy is underlying the theme of her famous novels. So, rational selfishness. Okay, so what she's doing in this book and what I've read so far is she's taking the term selfishness and literally exposing it to us in a new light, which is fantastic, and I love when people do this. Especially when you can agree. You know what I mean, and you can concur. So she's taking all the negative connotations that we've applied to the word selfish, right? Yeah. And completely just demolishing them, just erasing them from existence. Yeah. And to a sense, because rational selfishness isn't necessarily that, you can hear the word rational and feel a different type of way than when you just hear like, oh, that person's selfish, you know what I mean? Or that guy's selfish, but he's rational about it. You know what I mean? It gives you a totally different perspective on the idea. And so, what she kind of touches on in the book is we have been, for lack of better terms, trained to put other people's beliefs, desires, and views before our own, right? Yeah. And to some extent, I have to say that I'm a man who believes in that. You know what I mean? I do believe in extending, you know what I mean? Yeah. Kind, compassionate gestures when feasible, right? Absolutely. Yeah. But she gets into it because I'm very much an extremist, as you know. You guys have mentioned this a little bit before. You know what I mean? Whether it's either side of the table or whether it's in the middle or whatever the case is, I'm definitely, I can be an extremist. And so I'll put a pin in this. Over the past 3 years, I've gone through 2 different stages: extreme selfishness and extreme selflessness. Okay, and it was an insane transitional period to go through these different things, and that's why I like what she's talking about so much in this book is for the simple fact that there's a certain extent that you have to draw a line at when you finally decide that, in other words, in a metaphorically, sense, you can't allow people to walk all over you until you can't take it anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a certain level of tolerance everybody should have in human nature because it's a virtue, right? But at a certain point, you're now, in other words, extremely killing yourself, right? Holding yourself back, stopping yourself, restricting yourself from something because you are putting. This could be situational because you are putting somebody else in front of you. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. So I'm not necessarily going to say that if, somebody was shooting at us that I wouldn't jump in front of a bullet for you guys. Right. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I very much believe not necessarily in the human sacrifice that they speak of, these brutal people, right? Or, are us in a sense. But at the same time, I do believe in a sense of sacrifice. I think sacrifice is important. I think it's very beautiful for, when you sacrifice things that, can positively influence your life. You know what I mean? Or when you sacrifice something, then your life is then positively influenced, in other words. But yeah, that's just kind of, where I've gotten so far. And, as I continue to read through the book, I'll share more knowledge with you guys individually, what I mean? And you guys would definitely be able to, strive off of it. I'll even lend the book out. I already have a friend who wants to read it after me. But I mean, I would love to hear your guys' perspective, in other words, or your insight on this idea that she's coming out with, or that she has come out with, this rational selfishness idea. I don't very much get to ask anybody's other opinion, or I actually value what they're saying. You guys are gonna have a beautiful insight to this, so I just love to hear what you have to say.
So as far as our perspective on it, so the rational selfishness, if I'm understanding correctly, is kind of when it is deemed maybe a little more appropriate to, how do you put it, to kind of say like, hey, I need to do what's good for me. And then on the flip side of it, kind of being able to say like, hey, this may not be exactly what I want, but I need to do this for X reasons. So that's kind of like what we're...
In a sense, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Really.
So, Iman, do you have something right off the bat you thought about it?
Thinking about it, man. It's not a new idea, right? We've always... really, that's just it's kind of a flowery fancy way of saying self-boundaries, right? Setting up self-boundaries for yourself. And you want to do that in every approach of life, in any relationship, with your boss, your job, your girlfriend, your family, your friends. It's all about boundaries. People have their own boundaries, but people don't know where your boundaries lie. So you always have to establish it, right? And that's when the whole selfish, what's it called?
Yeah, rational
selfishness comes into play, man. And then I do like what she says about the sacrifice thing, man. Sacrifice is fucking huge. I heard a quote recently, man, and it really stuck out to me. And the quote was, if you took care of your own, then everyone will be taken care of, right? I don't care how much of a sack of shit you are, how bad you think you've wronged yourself and the people around you. There's at least one motherfucker out there that cares for you. You know what I'm saying? And if that motherfucker in any circumstance will put himself or put you in your health and your needs above his, we'd all be taken care of. Obviously, I use the most extreme example, but we all have somebody that we care for.
Absolutely.
And we all have somebody that cares for us.
Yeah.
Now, if we all worked as a network and took care of each other, fucking everyone's taken care of. Even Hitler had loyal followers, and that's the worst motherfucker in history. One of them, you know what I'm saying? So there's always somebody.
As an example in there.
Got to, man. You got to. So there's always somebody out there that's going to take care of you, but you got to make sure that you're always paying it forward, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it goes full circle, dude.
Absolutely.
It goes full circle. So that's why I like the whole sacrifice, dude.
Right.
Like this whole, like people hear me say it a lot. I have this saying like, you got to be a Don. That's Don shit. You know what Don is? Don Corleone, Godfather. That's where the whole saying came from. Yeah. You got to be the Don.
That's right.
Well, Don was known for caring for the people in his community in the movie, The Godfather.
Right.
You know what I mean? You come to visit me. What can I do for you? How can I be of a service? That was the fucking Don Corleone.
Yeah.
He had the riches. He had the bitches. He has the power. You know what I mean? But he's always paying it forward and spreading it in his community. Yeah. And he became the Godfather, the caretaker of the people around him. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So I think that shit's beautiful, man.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you this real quick. I was going to ask you, and I guess both of you, and I think you're probably at a different stage of it right now because obviously you're going through a little more self-discovery about it. But so I was going to pose the question, like, where do you think you are, Iman, as a person? As far as, like, are you someone who's more like, hey, I'm going to do what's best for Iman, and other people are going to take a back seat? Or are you kind of more like, hey, I'm going to help out my family? Or do you feel like you kind of have a certain balance to it? Me, personally, I've always kind of been in family relationships stuff for the most part, as long as it's... And I'll tell you how this kind of, I think, affected my past relationship that I got out of recently. So, for the most part, I try to very much be like, especially about mundane shit, because a lot of arguments, a lot of shit that comes up in our life, we as people in the society that we're in right now, we don't have to make the sacrifice where it's like, I'm going to give up my life for my family. That doesn't come up all the time.
Right.
That's not a regular thing.
Right.
Very true.
Yeah, so like, now, like, what we consider sacrifices today can be like, oh, well, I don't give a shit where we eat. You decide. Or like, hey, I want to do this, but you want to do that. I don't give a shit. Let's just do it. So anything like that, I've always been the type of person where I'm like, I really don't want to eat there. And then so-and-so will be like, oh, I want to eat there. And I'm like, okay.
Let's do it.
That's fine. And my family will always kind of be like, really, Alex, you're going to be a girl like that and just say, okay, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm like, I'm just trying to avoid all the bullshit and just like, we'll just do it. Because a lot of the times it doesn't matter, especially with the problems that we deal with a lot in our society and where we live. It doesn't fucking matter.
In reality, right?
Yeah. So I've always been kind of like that. And even other things where it's like, hey, can you do this for me, Alex? Or, hey, I need help or whatever. Like, even like you've called me up like, hey, my car broke down. I need to ride to work. Or, hey, I need to ride to work. And I'm like, okay, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not doing anything. Yeah, right. So, like, I guess for me, that kind of speaks to, like, maybe I don't have other shit going on. But the way now, not that I'm a hypocrite, it might seem hypocritical. So, but for the most part in my relationships with, my girlfriend at the time and with my family, I've very much been like, what do you need? I'll do it. Like, what I won't do this. I'll help you do that. Whatever, right? Well, the Champion stuff, my nonprofit organization that I work with, I had a real big problem with that because I started feeding, and it's kind of weird because it wasn't actually for me. It wasn't a selfish thing. Mm-hmm. It would be like, by the way, my ears are fucking itching.
I gotta say, I apologize for giggling when you're reading your book, but dog, he's reading the shit and you're just getting redder and redder.
I feel it. I feel it. I can feel my blood vessels.
This motherfucker like scratching.
I can feel my blood vessels, bro.
But I'm enjoying it though.
Just know it's all good things happening. It's all good things happening. It's for your health.
It's like an acid trip.
But
so I knew you would like this shit. It's an experience. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but so like when it would come to the Champion shit, my family would be like, I need you to do this, or we're gonna do this, and I kind of be like, I'm doing the Champion shit, and I'm not gonna put that ahead of this, or I'm not gonna put you ahead of this. And again, it's kind of one of those weird things because the Champion shit wasn't for me; it was always a charity thing. And then this was a big problem with Serena in my past relationship. It was a big problem for a while because it was, she told me at one point that, hey, I feel like this is more important than I am, and at one point, there was very much a heated conversation where she's like, well, you're committing yourself to all this, and we're not doing this, we're not doing that, and you're not paying attention to this and this. And I remember, and it's probably one of my biggest regrets about anything in life, is that I told her, I'm like, okay, well, just in this instance, it's more important than you. And I remember I said that, and she brought it up later, and I remember going like, I'm a piece of shit, because I said that. And that was more, and it's a weird thing, because they were both kind of sacrifices, but one sacrifice I was putting above the other. So for me, the circumstance was kind of weird in that case of it. But go ahead.
I think that the sacrifice, man, is laying down for the greater good. And with women, you guys ready for my diet misogynistic quote of the night? I thought I was gonna make it through the day without saying one. Fuck.
Iman.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say biggest. What the hell the fuck do you say it? Misogynist in the world.
Absolutely, man.
Go ahead.
2 years in a row.
Grandpa misogyny. What's the word?
Misogyny.
Whatever.
Misogyny.
Fuck it. Say your
can't
thing.
think with this flush going on.
Yeah, I know. I feel it in my fucking
It'll
head.
pass and you'll be.
Yeah, no, I'm not too worried about it.
But it's about laying down for the greater good, man. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
People, I know, right? People think. For your example, right? Mm-hmm. Your lady thought that you valued the champion's importance more than her own. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, maybe you did. But you're a man on a mission. You're a man on a mission. The greater good in your life was charity. Spreading love in vast areas. You know what I'm saying? Not just with your lady. And that was your mission. You were a man on a mission. I think where you fucked up is not with the sacrifice, but the balance, managing balance of it all. Yeah. And that's it happens. It happens. We're young guns. We're figuring this shit out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I think this is a fucking lesson to the ladies, right? And even some guys, right? If you're a man on a mission, if your man is on a mission, and he begins to
or if your lady's on a mission,
right? And he begins to, we gotta balance it out a little bit, and he begins to become neurotically obsessed with that mission. Know that he's not replacing, he's not seeking more value in that mission. It's just a different kind of value. A man's career can never replace his lady, and a man's lady can never replace his career. It's just we have a hard time balancing it out, but they're both equally important. Yeah. And if you become obsessed with one area, then other areas in your life get fucked up, as we've all fucking experienced, right?
Yeah.
We've all seen this shit.
Of obsession.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess we all are born as men with a level of sacrifice naturally built in us. It's in our fucking genes. It's just we gotta learn as young men where to distribute that sacrifice, right? And that's where the fucking balance comes in.
Yeah.
And it's a lifelong pursuit, my friends. None of this shit is overnight.
Yeah, I know.
None of this shit's overnight, dude.
Yeah. Well, personally, just to kind of round out my thing that I want to get your take on it is personally after just having that experience as far as trying to balance those things, and that's the big thing is it's balance. You know, I told myself I'm never gonna do that again.
Yeah.
Like that's
live and learn.
Yeah, it's one of those things where again to me it's a big it's one of those big like regret moments.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because obviously we're not together and stuff, and I don't know if that contributed or whatever. I'm not gonna beat myself up thinking about it, but either way it just didn't work out. But the point is that I never want anyone to feel like that. Like something else is more important than a person that I've told that I love.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So again, like you said, it's the balancing act that I personally want to get better at. But Iman, so to kind of round it back, I was asking you what is your way
right now?
Yeah, like where are you? Are you more of like helping out Iman? Are you more of helping out others? Or you kind of do you think you've kind of figured out that balance?
I'm in a like I will never say I figured it out. The second you say you figure something out like that, you're doomed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm always expanding and shit, but. I've never thought about it on the level that you and maybe you have thought about it. You know what I'm saying? I've never been in that situation to even think about
personally, it's a thing I think about a lot.
Now it is for me.
Yeah, well, because like even like I said, and I hate to keep mentioning it, but just the charity thing, that was a lot of
That's fresh, by the way.
Thank you. that was a lot of very spending money, spending time on stuff that I'm literally not getting anything back from.
Yeah.
So that was a level of sacrifice that I never fully appreciated when I first started doing it, and just in the last 2 years I've kind of been like, wow, that was a lot of my life devoted to that. But sorry, go ahead.
Think of how many fucking, remember what we were saying earlier? Think of how many fucking seeds he's planted, but we'll get into that though. But listen, man, the phase.
I'm always fucking bitches. So seeds are everywhere.
You planting your seed everywhere, guys. Yep. But look, man.
Especially on napkins and
my hand recently. I'm just kidding. But
the crusty side of my underwear.
Bathroom sink once.
Bathroom sink. On Iman's toothbrush.
Hey. But I think I'm gonna just. Nothing is ever. Everything is fucking long-winded with me. I'm sorry. So
no, go ahead.
I think I've always gauged. I think a good way to gauge where you are in this process of rational selfishness in the modern day, right? We can't compare it to I'm in this phase now because I fucking slayed a dragon for my family. We can't do that shit. You know what I mean? So I think a good way to gauge it now is how you look at Christmas, dog.
Ooh.
How you? It sounds crazy, but this is we're 21st century. Everything's watered down. We're kind of pussies. What's up?
Fucking hate you.
Why?
I fucking hate you.
What happened?
I shouldn't have taken it. I shouldn't have. I should have told you that. So fucking mad.
Is it burning? Is it burning?
I'm itching here.
Yeah.
Like in my upper lip. Like inside.
How you feeling? I just got dry mouth. I'm chilling over here.
You want some water?
I'm okay.
I'm good. I got Pepsi.
I'm sipping. Okay. I'm sipping.
Now, anyway, go ahead. So Christmas. Why Christmas?
I got more water in there if you guys need some.
Okay.
I just filled it up. So.
Thanks.
Man, I can't handle this fucking. Did we tell you what we're doing for the 50th?
No.
So, sorry, real quick, sidetrack.
Yeah,
so, episode 40 happened, and we're getting. This is 43, and we're having guests every single episode leading up to episode 50.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a big old thing. So episode 50, we talked about it a little bit more. We don't know the exact logistics of it, but me and Iman are gonna get fucked up on episode 50.
Wow.
And so there's gonna be alcohol involved and shit. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I can't handle this fucking pill. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna talk when I'm like three or four shots in, and I'm like,
that's gonna be the content. That's gonna be the fun part.
Yeah. Anyway, but go ahead.
But I've noticed throughout the years, man, my perspective on Christmas, right, is fucking beginning to change. And that's why I'm gauging who I'm becoming as a man.
Yeah.
The age of 7, Mom, Dad, what do you motherfucking... Ooh. Let me not say that. Not my parents.
Mom, Dad, it's time to pay your dues.
Mom, Dad, what are you lovely people who I respect immensely getting me? Questions like that up until the age of, I'd say, 13, 14. And then, at the age of 14, the holidays roll around, I don't know why, but I developed a sense of guilt. A sense of guilt.
Like you want to contribute.
I didn't contribute anything. I recall even asking my dad, I was like, Dad, why do I feel guilty about Christmas? I didn't know how to.
Me and him had this conversation before too.
Yeah, it was a big moment in my life. I said, Dad, why do I feel fucking guilty about Christmas? I can't. All my friends are jolly. Why do I feel like shit? And then I realized at the age of 16, I don't deserve anything. The fuck did I do to deserve you serenading me with gifts when there's kids dying in Africa of starvation? The fuck did I do? Mm-hmm. Right? And then at the age of 18, 19.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're good, man. You're good. Go ahead. I got a job and I could contribute.
I can feel it, like right fucking here.
It's,
like,
baby, it's nice and
flush.
flush.
It's so fucking
Look at
weird.
his skin. You see how puffy his skin is getting?
Yeah.
And your eyes getting bloodshot. Yeah. You're flushed, my man. Sweating a little bit.
I fucking hate it.
It'll pass. This
is the worst shit in the world. I'm about to go smoke so I can calm the fuck down.
Are you panicking?
No, I'm not panicking. It's just like I'm feeling weird tingles in places. I'm not used to feeling weird tingles, and it's pissing me off.
You're good, man.
I'm more
I
upset.
cause those types of things on a daily basis to myself on accident, so
I believe
I'm okay with it.
You got a powerful fucking mind. I believe it, dude.
Yeah, so I can.
This motherfucker probably water bends on the weekend for recreation.
Fucking guy.
Shit,
I think it's so beautiful that you said water.
We'll get into that later. Yeah, so. And then I realized at the age of 18, mm-hmm. right?
We're all sitting here fucking dying from this pill. At least I am. I'm sitting here like,
yeah. When I started working.
Am I flushed? Am I okay?
You're flushing, dude. I think the hard part for you is kind of passing.
I think. Is it really?
I mean, how do you feel?
I'm very.
I feel it in
receptive.
my elbow.
I know.
I'm very.
Look at you. Look at how ready
he is.
I know.
Look at the whole everything.
Oh shit, that was close. Okay,
we're good. So mad.
Look at how ready he is. But let me fucking finish this point.
Yeah, please do.
I noticed at the age of 18 and 19...
You look beautiful still, so it doesn't matter.
You're hot, okay. Dude. When I started working, I could contribute. And so my thing now became, Mom, Dad, what am I getting? To, Mom, Dad, what the fuck? I don't even want to enjoy Christmas this year. To, Mom, Dad, what do y'all want?
Yeah.
Brother, sister, what do you guys want?
Yeah.
Ebony, what should I get Emery? Your niece. Or my niece.
Mm-hmm. Your niece.
Your niece.
My kid.
My niece, your daughter. And then I forgot to ask the question, oh shit, what do I even want? And then I started dropping in that year I dropped like $400, $500 on my family alone.
It's like 6 my first year buying Christmas gifts for family. Yeah, I understand.
And it was a fucking beautiful experience. You know what I'm saying?
It's also 6 doing other shit that month.
Yeah, it's very true.
And then I really gauged it by when my fucking birthday rolled around. I was so obsessed with making sure that everyone else had a good time in my space, right? Had a good time meeting people that I've grown up with and getting to know each other who they've never met, but I all know. That I forgot to enjoy myself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. My parents were like, Iman, you're throwing this shit, you're planning everything, but remember, stop stressing. This is your 21st. You have to have a good time at the end of the day. But my mind was like, fuck that. I gotta make sure my people have a good time. So dropped $600, almost $700 on that fucking party alone. I wanted to make sure everybody had a fucking good time. I didn't give a fuck about me. That's how I kind of gauged where I'm at. And that's kind of where I'm at, dude. I try to live like a Don, as I was saying earlier, where I just take care of the people around me. That's all I give a fuck about. And I don't want to... I'm constantly gauging it because I don't want to become too giving and run myself dry, which I constantly do.
Constant gauging is important, though.
Mm-hmm. And so that's where I'm at. Let's take it to Ethan, man. We've been on
man. Ethan, how do you feel that you are? As far as, selfishness, selflessness, kind of... Are you more of hey, I'm doing what's best for Ethan again? Or is it
I love this.
Do you feel you've found a balance, or are you still figuring it out?
Well, those are all good questions. I think I like to start with where I'm at currently. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then I'll kind of give you an idea because this specific topic here has been extraordinarily significant in my life over the last 2 years to 3 years.
Get into it, man.
Guaranteed for sure.
Absolutely.
So currently it's interesting. I guess, and as I explain current, when I do explain the past, you'll understand more or so how I love that. Does it feel better though? Is it relieving you?
Actually, yeah, it is.
Well, good. That's good. You know what I mean?
Sorry, go ahead.
Good. Just don't fall into like so much hot, so much cold, all at the same time. What's gonna happen? No.
Fucking bad high.
I know.
Whoa. Okay.
No. I'm enjoying this though. By the way, this pill. It's interesting.
You should have got 2, your big ass.
I probably should have taken 2, honestly, bro. My tolerance to
They're sitting here like I should have taken 2. I'm like I should have taken none.
I should have broke the capsule open and. But so
just like.
So I'll get through this efficiently
man.
and briefly for you guys. So
Take your time, dog.
Okay, well, beautiful. So currently, as I said, over the past couple of weeks, they've been very significant in my life these past couple of weeks, and it's because of a lot of it has to do with finding this balance that we were talking about between selflessness and selfishness, right?
Yeah.
So I believe that, I'm a firm believer that. Life works in cycles. Obviously, everything works in cycles. You know what I mean? Everything goes. It's constant movement. It's constantly rotating. Everything's moving. In every sense. And and I don't want you to think when I say like everything's moving in a cycle that it's like a circle or like it's like this perfect circle. No, I mean, do the planets move? Like, do the planets move on a perfect circle format, or is it like elliptical? Right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact of the matter is. You just have to be, which the constant gauging comes into play. You just have to be aware of what is, in other words, required whatever you're going through, right? Whatever circumstances you're going through, right? Mm-hmm. You have to be aware of what's required of you in those circumstances, because I'm also a firm believer that circumstances don't define the man or the woman, right? Mm-hmm. The person, but how you deal and handle with those circumstances. Definitely. That, in my opinion, is what defines you more.
Yeah.
So a lot of that in the way you handle and deal with the situation comes a lot from how you gauge the situation. You know what I mean? And how much selflessness or selfishness you put into that situation, right?
Yeah.
I'll speak on specifically my past girlfriend Brianna.
Absolutely.
And really, forgive me. I much love for her, but I don't. Probably won't hear me say her name again. You know what I mean? Just so everybody knows who Brianna is, right? So I said it again, contradicting.
I'm never.
Yeah, right.
I'm never gonna say her name again.
Well, it just goes to show how much influence that she had on my life. You know what I mean? I spent 5 years with this woman. You know what I mean? She was the number one woman that I was dedicated to for 5 years.
Right.
Now we had our off and on periods, as everybody does. I'm 20 years old. So I've known her since I was 15. Right? We dated since I was 15.
Whoa. Ethan, how old are you?
I'm 20.
How do you think you was?
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Look at him.
He was fucking 19.
Look at him. When did you turn 20?
I'm going to turn 21 in June. So, 10 months ago.
That's the freakish shit, man.
Oh my god.
This motherfucker is 6'6", now 220 pounds.
He looks like he's my fucking dad and I'm older than him.
That's testosterone, people.
God. It's belief in energies.
He looks like he's a fucking man.
Thank you.
Like, I passed by him coming in here and I'm like, oh, sir, did you not pick up your son yet?
Yeah,
like, what are you doing in here?
Sorry,
man?
go ahead, Ethan.
You end up in the wrong room? So and I appreciate you guys' knowledge. That does feed my narcissism just a little bit. So I appreciate you guys.
At least you understand that it does.
Absolutely. So, like I said, so I'm gonna go into just a quick tangent on my ex-girlfriend. So.
Go ahead.
Selflessness, right, is what we or in other words, just to use an example, right, you had your your champion, right, and then you had your previous relationship. I in my sense was not in an essence of champion, because I really think what you're doing is beautiful, and I completely and absolutely utterly believe in what you're doing. I think it's amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course, and in my honest opinion, I may sound like an asshole, you know what I mean, but I am an asshole. I think you made the most absolute best decision that you could have made, and whatever decision you made to place your like you said, you kind of place more value over one sacrifice than the other, right?
Yeah.
I think you made the right choice. That's just me, and I don't necessarily believe in right or wrong. Yeah, and I'm sorry to impose, but I think it's so beautiful, because in my opinion, briefly, what I've learned from my past relationship and all the past relationships, and this just goes both ways, guys. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't just necessarily fall under women. Like, I have guys that in my life that I've tried to help and pick up and carry along with me, and want to join paths and lock arms and walk paths together too. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is that at some point you began to either put them on a pedestal subconsciously or very much consciously, or the vice versa happens and they're doing that to you in a sense. And in my opinion, when you place something on a pedestal and I haven't completely understand this concept yet. I'm just kind of understanding it with humans, right? With people. when you place something on a pedestal, that's a very, very like fine line you're walking on, because it can cause so many different things. And like I said, I'm gonna keep this tangent quick, but for instance, I put my friend Juan, who's a very good friend of mine for a long time, is actually my best friend over the last year and a half, previous 2 months ago. But I in essence, when I first met him, he had me on a pedestal for months because we worked at a warehouse together. I'm a very positive person. I believe, I firmly like and do that on purpose. You know what I mean? Like I intend for that every time I'm awake existence, right? So he put me on a pedestal due to, I feel like, that, because he didn't enjoy his job. Neither one of us enjoyed our warehousing job. When you're picking up 20 to 100 pound boxes and you're stacking them on pallets, you know what I mean, for 12 hours a day, you start to hate everything.
It's also worse if you ever live in New York and you have that job.
Oh wow.
Because I would just imagine there's cops coming up to you every 5 minutes going like, "Hey, you see Tony the other day?" And you're like, "Yeah, I seen him."
That's
every
great.
episode of CSI Miami.
Back to the Dons.
Yeah, I seen him. Yeah, him and his girl passed through here the other day. Picked up his last check. Where'd he go? I don't know. Just quit. Sorry, guys.
That's brilliant, though. I love that. So he had me on a pedestal for a long time, and therefore, but he reached out to me on a personal level. And was like, "Look, man, like I don't want to be." I told him, I was like, "I'm not working here anymore." I said, as of today, this was, I'm getting a new job. I said, "I can't be here anymore. This is a trap. This was to humble me. This job right here, I'm not supposed to be here anymore. I was supposed to experience this job to humble how I feel about the workforce. The workforce. That's perfect." So, he then felt the same way, right? Whether it was due that I said it, I was the one who said it first or not, it doesn't matter to me. It didn't matter to me at the time, and it still doesn't. The fact of the matter is, he said, "Well, where are you going to go?" I said, "Well, my mom works at an Olive Garden," which I previously have worked at Olive Garden. And so I was like, she's going to give me a job somewhere. I'm probably going to go back to the old one that I worked at, and which I had ended up going to a Papacitos, because of my mom. You can't work at the same place your mother works as a manager, due to like policy. So I gave Juan my job. I said, "Juan, you go ahead and take my job at Olive Garden. Then my mom will hire you. I'll go work at Papacitos." So I get him a job. We leave, right? So then our friendship continues because he's always around my mom, right? So and he works with her, and we talk consistently. And then jobs shift again. I start working for this, my one of my most recent jobs, Vivint, as a smart home company. It's how I met, both of you guys. Yeah. And so I got Juan the job there too, because he had another buddy that worked there, but he didn't really fuck with that guy. You know what I mean? When he heard that I loved the job, he was like, "Okay, great, now let me do it." So we got on, follow. We get into it, because we. So, I'm going to skip ahead quite a few here. So, after, 8 months of being with Vivian, we sit down one day and have breakfast together. And something, there's like animosity. I can feel it. You know what I mean? But I don't have anything against this man. So it's like, there's no way this is coming from me.
It's like one-sided, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to very subtly, invoke or provoke, I guess, you know what I mean? Not antagonize, right, but provoke, just try to bring it out of him. I can feel it, you know what I mean? Yeah. You can always feel it. So and I love bringing stuff out of people. It's important to be honest, in my opinion. It's important to tell the truth. When you stick to the truth, it's so much beautiful, more beautiful in life, But so the fact of the matter is, he goes, this is so crazy, because he goes, he basically told me, he goes, "You made me feel for so long that you were better than me." And he goes, I don't like it. It's a shitty feeling. I don't feel good. You know what I mean? When I'm around you, it's not fun anymore. Like I feel like you're better than me. And I said, "Okay, so let's backtrack then, because at first you told me that you said I make you feel that way, right? And then you just said right now that you just feel that way. Yeah. So is it my fault, really? Yeah. That you feel that I'm superior to you? Now, granted, like I said, I can be a little narcissistic. I don't intend for superiority. I don't believe necessarily in that. I don't like the whole dominance hierarchy that exists in the world that we live in today. Regardless, you know what I mean? That system alone. But the fact of the matter is, I blamed myself immediately. I said, "Wow, dude, I'm a fucking horrible friend, bro. Wow, I'm the worst human being that fucking exists. Because how dare I make somebody so close to me make them feel that way? You know what I'm saying?" Yeah. So immediately I apologize, and just, you know what I mean, like tell him I wasn't aware of it. You know what I mean? I wasn't aware of it. But this is the part that's my favorite, because Brianna told me the same thing. Okay, another friend of mine, Alex, told me the same thing, and this Alex,
that they make you feel that way.
That they feel that way about me.
About you,
Yes. And I've known Alex since junior year in high school, so this is about 5 years I've known him. And that conversation with Alex just happened 2 weeks ago. So the fact that he said I haven't been that way recently. He said he hasn't felt that way recently. It was just in the past when I was going through my most significant stage of selfishness, in my honest opinion of my life. So I started thinking to myself, like, is it really my fault that these people, I'm being myself entirely all the time.
Yeah.
So just because I'm a little more selfish, for a year of my life, because I feel like I need to be in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
These people now feel like because I stopped putting them first and stopped necessarily including them in concerns when I made choices.
Yeah.
You follow me on that? That's when they started to feel that Ethan may be feeling like he's superior. Because I reduced a little bit how much I care about you.
Yeah,
in a sense.
and
not as a human, right? And I don't care about you as your life, but just in essence of like me making a decision. Like if I'm gonna switch jobs, because I don't want to work at this job anymore. Previously me and my girlfriend were working together, old Brianna.
Yeah.
And so the fact of the matter is, I wanted to switch jobs for so long because I feel like, Olive Gardens, I feel like waiting tables, I'm very humble, but I feel like waiting tables is not what I should be doing. There's plenty of other things I can invest my time into than waiting tables. Not that I don't enjoy making a difference, but I feel like I could have never left because I feel like Brandon would have took it personal. Like, oh, you don't want to work with me anymore? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay. Well, the fact of the matter is I went through that selfish stage, and then that's when, everybody started feeling that way. I guess it was like people were starting, I was like kind of not necessarily pushing people out, but like distance was growing between me and my close people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it was my family too. Not as much as my family, as much as these people that I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna backtrack here so that you understand kind of a history of Juan and and then a little bit of Brianna, the two most significant people or two most significant lessons in life that I've learned as of late. So the lesson I learned from Brianna is basically the same lesson I learned from Juan, because this is gonna be pretty crazy. But I caught in essence Juan fucking Brianna behind my back. So. And here's the fucked up part.
Wow, that shit just took a fucking turn.
I dated Brandon for 5 years, right?
Fuck, I didn't know that, bro.
Best friends for a year and a half.
Wow.
And I caught the most two
trust. You walked in?
No, I just got her to tell me. Like I said, you know what I mean? I just got her. Bro, if I would have walked in, I don't know what you know what I mean?
Probably would have killed him, bro.
Or him at least, you know what I mean? Dick out and everything, bro. He's dead. Laying there, I probably would have ripped it off. But the fact of the matter is,
Give me that shit, motherfucker.
Yeah, so the fact of the matter is that the two most trustworthy people that I felt were, that I trusted in my life betrayed me.
Yeah.
And those same two people told me that I made them feel like I was or inferior, in other words. And so my truest vice is that I like to sometimes ignore my initial instinct of cutting somebody off because I want to see something flourish before I decide. So right. Go ahead.
Do you think that and sorry if this is prying a little bit, but do you think that the way that they maybe felt because of the type of, because you're just a very dominant personality, and I think I understand that and I'm fine with it because I'm a very dominant personality in my friend group. Iman's a very dominant personality with his friend group, and I think that when you have a dominant person around people for a certain amount of time, people
get tired of you quickly.
Not just that, but people also put value in you and themselves differently. And I think that's a big thing that you were kind of hitting on because of how people were perceiving you and how they felt they should be valued in your eyes and how they valued themselves. And that's why their kind of perspective on things change over time. So,
they expected me to feel a different way than what they expected me to feel this way about them, even though I felt that way about them. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Well, because I kind of have a similar thing where I've met people through Champions. I've met people through school. I have a gentleman who I went to high school with who I was talking to fairly recently. And he was like, man, in high school, and he goes, and now, bro, 'cause you're doing all this cool stuff, like you're a cool guy, and you know, kind of did the thing where he was stroking my ego a little bit, and I'm like, oh, I appreciate that. I personally don't feel that way about myself, but if I did that, or if I help you want to do better or whatever, that's great. I'm so happy about that. But there's definitely again that like what people are gonna put into you and what they're taking out of you versus what you're gonna value, in exchange. So, fuck, I forgot my fucking point I was trying to make. But, god damn it. I was going somewhere and I totally fucking forgot.
I do it sometimes too.
Yeah. Well, also my hands are just burning.
Yeah. Well, I'll
go ahead,
finish this then.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I think that's so true. And the one thing that I realized in these relationships that I was having with these people, it was another man that I knew named Christian, a very good friend of mine too, who actually helped me lose a lot of. I was very overweight and very unhappy with myself and the way I looked for a while. And
Crazy, you can't relate.
Yeah, he came into my life now. You're beautiful, bro. So,
Thank you. I
know,
appreciate it.
yeah. So and we all are at some point, but it's about how you feel about yourself. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
sorry, really quick.
Yeah,
just
good.
so I remember.
Good.
I'll let you get back to that, but I was just gonna finish out the dominance thing.
Please, yeah.
When you have someone that's a very dominant, a dominant force, you have two reactions to them, and normally everyone goes through the same two reactions, and one comes first and the other one comes first. A lot of dominant people who come into the lives of others is very much at the beginning. I'm sure you've had this too, Iman, because like I said, you're a very dominant person. Is people perceive you and they're like, oh, Alex is great, or Ethan's great, or Iman's great, and they're funny. They can have a conversation. That's awesome. Well, over time, when you're that type of dominant force and you're around friends and family, people kind of morph from like, and I guess it's I don't know how to put it other than it's hard for them to keep up.
Yeah, I got you. Well, maybe try this one. So, how about they either, and this is just maybe not exactly, but they either kind of want to follow you, or they want to be kind of not against you, but not follow you. It's either they're gonna follow it because they like what they like the feeling they
exactly.
Get,
I think it's exactly the thing. They're like I really like what this dominant person's doing, and I want to follow them and be with them on this journey, or it's this person's dominant and I'm not the dominant one.
I understand.
So now I'm kind of, I'm pushing against that, or I am now having, because I've dealt with that all the time. Because I've met a lot of other dominant people that I butt heads with, even in the champion shit and work shit. There's people that you meet them at first and they're like, dude, I'm totally on your side and all that. And then when y'all both realize that you're dominant forces, or they don't like the dominant force that you are, they kind of come back at you a little bit. And that's same with relationships, with family, and
what
all
you
that.
just described is how my relationship with Juan began to evolve, and that's why I feel like everything ended the way it did, because at some point I love raising people to at least where I'm at. I feel everybody deserves an equal opportunity, right? And so sometimes I can be extreme with that. Like I say, I'm an extremist sometimes, and I feel like let me get them to where I'm at, so at least they can do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But in a way that kind of screws me, because then they reach, at least egotistically, to that level, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like,
and then they want to
feel there.
Then they want to be you and bring someone else there. They don't need you anymore. They've outgrown you. Okay.
They're lost
I get that.
individuals, my friend. They are fucking lost individuals. I look at us as like fucking suns. We're stars floating in space. Those motherfuckers are lost. They're looking for something to cling to, right? Yes. They'll see us on their fucking comets. They're just drifting about, nowhere to go, no direction. They look for somebody with direction, so they can mimic that. You understand me?
They yearn for magnetic pulls that are strong enough that they can follow.
So they find you. They get attracted to your fucking gravitational pull. They rotate you. They study you. They even gather up and fucking conspire against you.
Yep.
Juan and your ex. How the fuck did they both come to the same conclusion of how they feel individually about you?
Yep.
They sat there and fucking conspired against you from a fucking distance. And it's fucked up. It's creepy to think about it, because we sat down and we fucking shared a joint with them. All in the same room. It's weird shit. But they were plotting in every fucking moment they were with you, my friend. Every fucking moment, dude. You gotta watch it. Jesus fucking said it. He said at the Last Supper, one of you motherfuckers is gonna betray me. Is gonna fucking betray me.
And Judas is like, man, y'all hear this shit?
That's right.
That's Peter, right. I'm looking at you.
Yeah. It's some fucking dangerous shit, my people. It's some dangerous shit.
It is, man.
They're fucking wolves, man.
It is.
They're wolves. That's why I feel like we're so easy. We're so good at cutting people off.
Yes.
We have a very strong direction in our life. We have a very strong fucking vision.
We know what
of where we want to go.
Could be and couldn't be there.
Yeah.
If I feel like you fucking derail my path in the slightest, I'm sorry, you gotta go.
So just to kind of speak on that for a second, a lot of people were like, when I went through my breakup, because similar to you, I was with my girlfriend for 7 years. Luckily, I did not catch her or find out she was fucking anyone.
It's very hurtful.
I almost wish that would have been the case, because I feel like
it's a little bit easier, right?
Exactly. It's always better that there was a cause than just like, I'm not in love with you anymore.
Happen.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because I was with my significant other for going on 7 years, so we were since 8th grade, since middle school.
Incredible.
And I get it, because, and I've told him on this, we both grew up in a time where we grew together, and some people that works out. That works out for them. And I definitely feel like we grew up where, and again, towards the dominance thing, just being honest with myself, this is what I feel, that maybe contributed to it. And I'm sure it was other things. I'm sure if she heard this, she would have her own thing. But just for me personally, I felt, and I do feel very strongly about this, that I got to grow up, and being the type of person that I am, I grew up into myself.
Okay.
And I could become myself. And I feel like she never had that opportunity. And maybe because of the dominant force that I was, felt that she couldn't do that.
I see that.
Yeah.
I see
so
that.
and
I can agree with that. I can concur.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I'm fine with it. But my point is that because Iman was saying we're good at cutting people off. When we ended things, of course, when it ended, I went through that whole thing with her where I'm like, hey, we can work it out, we can do whatever, and she was just kind of like, it's just
because you don't want her to be gone out of your life.
Exactly,
yeah.
and she's like, it's not gonna happen, and I was like, okay, and I did the thing where I went home, I cried like a bitch. And I woke up the next day, and I was kind of on autopilot for a little bit because I kind of pushed those.
Dude, I did it for a couple of weeks, bro. I cried like bitches and woke up like a bitch.
See,
and felt like a bitch for a fucking week and a half, bro.
Well, my thing was, man, I cried for the first day.
Somebody else's dick was in her pussy at the same time or the same next, could be the next day, bro. You know what I'm saying?
And
so
they were so
bro.
close to you, man.
They lived next to each other. I let Juan, not to pause you.
No, go ahead.
I let Juan live in my apartment because he needed a place to stay, and I could live with my mom, and I could save money on rent. I basically said, here, go ahead and live one building neck over from the girl that you're trying to conspire with and fuck behind my back.
Yeah.
Go for it. I will never know because I live on the other side of town.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Have fun. Do it.
I will say this. Juan, you are a crazy motherfucker. If there's anybody who I'm going to fuck around with, it would not be Ethan. I don't know.
He's bold, bro. He's bold.
That's some bullshit.
He doesn't,
but it's all perspective.
Absolutely.
Because if Juan was at this table, I'd be like, bro, you got it.
Shit. Well, I'll tell you what, bro. If it wasn't my bitch, I'd feel that way. You know what I'm saying?
It's all perspective. It's all perspective.
It's all perspective.
This is a beautiful learning experience.
But I was just gonna just finish up my point real quick.
Yes.
But my point was like I cried about it for a day, and I did go on autopilot, and I went on autopilot not because I was like, man, she left me and stuff. I went on autopilot because I was kind of like, okay, I need to just get past it.
Yes.
Right.
And within after the first week, I was going to work, and my office manager was like, because my office manager, she's real good friends with my family and stuff, and she's like, it's okay to kind of have animosity or to kind of be like, oh, she's a bitch or whatever. Like, it's okay to have those thoughts because it helps you get over it. And I'm like, well, one, that's not me. It's just not how I'm gonna be about it. And two, I don't feel like that. I'm good.
Yeah.
So I got.
Those aren't my true feelings.
Yeah,
Right.
Not that I got over it super fast, but it was a lot easier for me to go like, hey, Alex, you're gonna get hit with a wave every now and then, but just keep fucking going.
That's right.
And I was fine and I was telling Iman, because I found out, I guess last week, unless Facebook is lying to me. I got online one day and I was still friends with her on Facebook, and I saw that she got into a relationship. And I saw it, and for a split second, I was about to get that wave where I was like, oh man, but a split second, it started creeping up, and then I went, I'm okay. I was like, I'm totally good. I do not give a shit. I'm okay.
It's beautiful.
And I was so happy about it. I went to work with a skip in my step, and I was
Hell
like,
yeah.
I was like, I'm all good.
And it projects you to move more with that.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? You want to feed that.
Yeah.
Brianna is in a relationship now too.
Yeah.
With a guy who's 3 years younger than me. I fucking laugh.
Yeah.
I laugh. I see him at the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's funny is literally a week at 21. A week, and she's like only a few months older than me. Her birthday's in September. So I saw this dude at the gym all the time. I always saw this guy at the gym, right? And the crazy part. I'm training my stepbrother now, right?
Yeah.
And my brother, I love him to death and love him the same way.
God, I feel it in my dick. What the fuck?
Nice, dude.
It's so weird.
Good.
Would this be good, for sex?
It is.
I'm thinking about it now. Anyway, but go ahead. Sorry.
That's great though. That's good to know. So,
things for you guys.
Facts is, bro, I saw this guy all the time, right? A week after, I finally officially cut ties with her, right? Well, I guess Monday, I guess I officially did that, right?
Yeah.
Officially, but I thought I had officially cut ties with her, the prior Monday, okay? And with that being said, literally after that very next day, I was working out with my brother Keelan, and we're at Gold's Gym, the same one we always go to, and I saw them talking to each other. You know what I mean? They were all on their phones, and I was like, oh, they're exchanging digits. That's cute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was still talking to Brand. I was still okay. I was still okay with her. you know? And so I was like, oh, is that your new boyfriend? Or no, I didn't say, I thought I wanted to say that, but I didn't say anything about it, right? You know what I mean? Because I was like, damn, that probably is her new dude, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't say anything about it, you know, whoop-de-doo. I brought it up about like a week later, right? The previous weekend of this last Monday, so last Saturday, I guess, in other words, I brought it up to her, or it was actually Friday. I brought it up to her, and she's like, oh, that's just some guy at the gym or whatever, you know what I mean? So, Pin, I was supplying her with the phone and allowing her to, you know, contribute to the bill for the service, right? And I just took that phone back this past Monday, and that's the official, like, you know, that was the last straw right there. I took everything. She has no more straws, right? You know what I'm saying? So
there's no reason for you to
So I took that phone, and it's my phone. It's my, you know, that's why I said my second phone, right? So the fact of the matter is, of course I'm gonna go. I went through it and saw what was up. You know what I mean? I wasn't necessarily, like, I didn't let it affect me, but I wanted to know. You know what I'm saying? I guess I kind of did. I started
closure.
I needed some just kind of like, you know, just that last little push out here. You know what I mean? It's like they're getting ready to send you off to sea, but you just need that last, like, oh, and then it's like boom, you got the momentum. You know what I mean? So in fact, or rocket to space is probably a better analogy. But the fact of the matter is, it's like her boyfriend now. It was to the point where I told her, I was like, hey, I'm going to come over. I need to get some stuff that I forgot about. She was like, no, I've had a really long day. I don't want you to come over. Like, mind you, I just went over, like, you know, a couple of days ago. Yeah. And I had just seen her at the gym working out with him. Right, so that she knew, she thought I was gonna go over there and start something. I was like, no, I really was going to take my shit. You know what I mean? You know, woman, you don't deserve this stuff anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm done lending helping hands out to you because you are just blatantly disrespecting me as a human being. You know what I mean? Lying to me and everything.
Did her doing that with Juan happen after I saw you at the party?
Yes.
So you were still trying to work it out.
This is what's crazy. Okay. I feel like it was happening that whole time because me and Brianna initially broke up in 2017 in April. When we after 11 months of living in the same apartment together, I felt like I needed to break up with her. You know what I mean? It just wasn't the same. I realized, and this is what I was gonna get into, so I'm gonna hold off on it. But I'm gonna go back for a second. Whatever. So I cut ties with her. I took the phone back. I took everything back. But the point I was saying was that she texted him. He texted her. He was like, hey, is everything okay? Hey, if you want me to be on the phone with you when he comes over, like, I would do that for you. And then he sent like a picture of a plant pot and then had said like garage door openers buried in the middle, you know, if you need it. So I was like, wow, she's that close to this guy to the point where she's talking about me like that. Yeah. I was like, wow, who knows how long this has been going on at this point? You know what I mean? She could have been doing, you know, she could have been fucking this guy the whole time. But I lied because he's a kid.
What do you mean by that? Garage door openers buried in the pot?
Like, for him, if she knows where he lives,
go to his house.
Come over if you need it. If you need to come inside, the garage door's open right here.
Oh my god.
That's insane, right?
So why didn't you go get the garage door opener?
I tried. I tried to fight that thought for a while because like.
How did you not beat the shit out of this guy, man?
Because, bro, she is not worth my time.
Okay.
She isn't even worth my thoughts at this point anymore. For her to treat me like that,
you would have beat that man half to death, and you'd be sitting in a fucking cell right now.
Yes, exactly.
Good.
And I see him at the gym. I saw him at the gym before I came over here.
Absolutely.
I laugh. He was by himself. I laugh because he'll look 17? At me. He's 18. He just turned 18. You know, and so I laugh.
Why is she dating a boy?
Yes, he just got out of high school. I'm like, damn, you know, whatever, right? To each their own. But the fact of the matter is, I'm at the gym and he wouldn't look at me. You know, I felt him look at me when I wasn't looking at him, of course. But I would laugh. I would laugh. I'd say, baby, thank you for thinking about me, homie. I appreciate you thinking about me. You're giving me everything I need right now. This is brilliant. Continue to send this energy my way, bro. Yeah. Because I have, and this might sound fucked up, but I have more love for my haters than I do for the people who support me. And I, you know, to a certain extent, I'm just joking, bro. I'm just joking. But you get what I'm saying, right? You know what I mean? Like, go ahead. You're thinking about me more than the people who support me are. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you're hating on me. Yeah. So go ahead. You think you might.
And also,
think
how much are you thinking about them?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't give a shit.
Yeah, not at all. I had a beautiful workout. You know what I mean? It is what it is, and I left the gym. But the fact of the matter is, I did think about saying, yeah, just send me your address one more time, or will you just drop a pin real quick, so I can come over, like, you know what I mean? You have no idea what it was bad, like, type shit. You know what I mean? I could have pulled up and I could have beat the fuck out of that guy, bro, because I've been for the past like 8 years I've been waiting for that shit to happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. But in my opinion, bro, like, there's no need for that. It's completely unnecessary. Yeah. They can live in whatever world that they have created together because they deserve that. and they deserve each other. And apparently obviously he doesn't know her at all for him to be willing to, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
gonna fail. They're two toxic people getting into a
relationship.
And
I'll like, I've been praying for her. I will continue to pray for her, and I'll pray that relationship fucking succeeds. And and they shoot for the stars.
Me and Iman had this same conversation, or a similar conversation about my thing, and not to get too into it, but essentially what we ended up talking about at the end of the conversation was like, I hope whatever they're after or whatever they do next works out for them, and they get what they want, because one, if it's going to work out for them and they're going to be happy, or it won't work out and it'll fail, but hopefully that'll teach them to do what's going to make them happy.
Continue to learn, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And you hope they succeed because you're going to continue to succeed.
That's right.
And why would you wish ill will on them? Because all you're doing is putting your energy that could be positive energy into negative energy that's going towards nothing.
Right.
Absolutely.
You have this finite amount of energy.
Yeah.
And why, you have this energy cluster, and this is your production machine, and this is the garbage. And why are you going to be putting shit in the garbage if you could just be putting all that to productivity?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely, I agree with you. So so that you guys have really you've got a beautiful insight now on Brianna, Juan, and then Christian is not even really worth talking about because.
Christian's the new guy?
Yeah, no. Christian was just the guy who helped me train, helped me get over. I started to really talk about it. He just helped me get out of my funk that I was in, right?
We calling out
the whole time he was conspiring against me too, because I experienced some things about him that and I'll have to get into that. That may be for another time or whatever the case is, but that's a whole nother situation there in a whole different direction. But the fact of the matter is, I'm going to go ahead and finish and explain to you guys more currently where I'm at as far as the selfishness and selflessness goes.
Yeah. Because
now you fully understand, the magnitude and everything that you need
to know.
Bring it all
back full circle.
That's right.
Beautiful.
That's what I'm saying.
The best. Go ahead.
So, learning everything that I've learned, I'm very, 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 very extremely cautious about who I allow, even I don't know what you consider in your inner circle, or you're in your personal space, your bubble, whatever the case is, around my apartment, hanging outside of work, you know what I mean? Exactly, in my world, bro, in my reality, who do I allow in there, right? I'm way more cautious about it. Because I know for a fact that I can do everything that I need to do and want to do, and my purpose can be done alone. I know it can. You know, of course, I love the company of a beautiful woman. You know what I mean? Of course, I got homeboys. You know what I'm saying? Everybody deserves to have, people that you can connect with, because, multiple minds can and absolutely, for sure should be better than just yours by itself. You know what I mean? In different facets, right? But the fact of the matter is, I haven't necessarily found that, not perfect, but at the same time, just kind of I haven't found that flow yet of this, right?
Yeah.
I'm on a very, like I said, I'm on a climb right now. You know what I mean? I'm definitely rising currently. I'm on a path to enlightenment because of this, because of all these things that have been happening.
Definitely.
And it's so funny because you can't deny your character. You cannot deny your character. You can change what you do, but you can't change who you are, right? So the fact of the matter is, I still recently, over the past month, I have scooped up my Keelan, right, my brother, and picked him up from Corpus Christi, got him a job, and gave him a place to stay, which is in my living room, and said, look, he told me, I want to feel like a man. I want to feel like I'm not dependent on anybody. I want to feel like I can get a job and go to school and live in my own apartment and do it by myself and not need anybody, right? I said, okay, man. I said, I'm gonna give you and tell you and show you everything you need to know to do that, because it's possible. I've been doing it for 3 years. I know what it takes. Let me go ahead and just at least get you to where I'm at. One thing that I'm learning is there's
also wasn't one of those years not even you worrying about you, it was you worrying about somebody else.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which was the relationship with Brianna. That's where my utmost selflessness felt. I fell victim to it completely because and I know a lot about myself, and I can very much be taken advantage of. I can be naive in a lot of situations. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm way more cautious about everything now. I'm more aware, because I've realized that the one person that I was willing to put in front of my family, you know what I mean, would go, behind my back like that and betray me. It just goes to show, it'll be your own ones,
Yeah, thanks, Juan.
Yeah, thanks, Juan and Brianna and Christian, and and take disrespect to everything I said to you and about you tonight. But the fact of the matter is that nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. You can't achieve that when you're a human. You know what I mean? There's no possibility. but you can work towards it.
Yeah, that's
right?
the pursuit.
Right. So that is what I am pursuing my most efficient and optimum, how do you say, balance or vibration, in other words, between my selfishness and my selflessness. You know what I mean? Because the point that I was making by picking up my brother Keelan and still willing to bring him up, even though he's my stepbrother, I consider him family.
Absolutely,
and even though the
man.
last 3 people that I tried to do this with came and fucked me in the ass, excuse me, but the bottom line is because I allowed that to happen. I didn't force the awareness into myself and actually dedicate myself to trying to help them. I was in love with one. Well, and I'm going to go back real quick, because with Brianna, one thing that I know for sure is that, yes, I loved her, and I really don't think I was ever in love with her. I was in love with the lust that we shared together in high school, and I let that right there carry itself, and I carried it, and she helped me carry that lust factor for 5 years. 5 years. Love is an eternal, everlasting, never non-existent energy, right? Always. Love is always around, right? It's consistent. It's one of the most consistent vibrations in existence. And with that being said, if you're with somebody and you ever reach a point to where you feel like you don't love them anymore, or that you don't love them, or you're not in love with them like you used to be, or whatever the case is, then it's not love. In my opinion. And I can be wrong, and of course it's situational, obviously, right? Very much so. But in at least in my situation, it was not love, my friend. It was lust, and I allowed it to continue when I should not have. Granted, I have learned so many beautiful lessons from that relationship that I'm grateful for. And I think that, hey, those lessons were going to be learned either way, and I'm sorry that, I had to learn them through that, and, I went through as much pain as I did. But, pain is the doorway to breakthroughs. You know what I'm saying? Pain is the doorway to growth, in my opinion. So, the bottom line is, I haven't found a balance, but I'm understanding more in how to dish it. And to speak on sacrifice, right? I'm sacrificing, even if I'm not 100. Well, now I'm 100% sure on everything. You know what I mean? I make sure that I am. So I got offered a job, just to, and we're good on the relationship thing now. You guys understand. So, I got offered a job in California. This is as of, currently, I still am deciding whether or not. Well, I've already really made my decision, but it's still on the fence, really. I got offered a job to my buddy who moved out to California, opened a pest control business a year ago, and it's been growing, and it's booming. And he lost a business partner and gained a business partner, but he wants 3. He wants himself and 2 others, right? He wants 3 people running the business with him. He offered me head of sales, recruiting, and leadership. Within his company, his pest control company. Granted, we didn't speak a whole lot on numbers, but he makes a significant amount of money, and he was able to upgrade himself from a 2008 Honda Accord to a 2017 Lexus. He upgraded his business partner from no car to a Benz. So they are very much doing things, and they're building credit. They're doing things that are important in this life, right? Yeah. But the bottom line is I'm sacrificing that opportunity to move out to California. He's offering me a place to live that I don't have to pay rent. He's giving me a job, a place to make money, everything. I'm sacrificing that out there because I know if I go out there that all my time is going to be dedicated to building that business, which I don't see necessarily anything wrong with, except for the fact that I know also along this, not soul searching journey that I've been on, but this tuning journey that I've been on, I'm becoming more in tune with who I am and what I need to be doing. We are people, we are creators is what humans are. We have the ability to, create things, you know what I'm saying? And one of the most beautiful expressions is art, and so I love music. Music is a passion for me, and not even just that, but in a sense, I also love poetry. So I love, spoken word. I love, I can put a rhythm or a melody to it. You know what I mean? I think that's beautiful. And all the artists that exist in the world, I know that is what I'm supposed to be doing. I know that my purpose is to make an impact and to sacrifice myself for the greater good of humanity. I know that. I'm aware of that. I'm not going to go in Israel. I love you, man. And if you ever see this, bro, forgive me, because I'm gonna call you in about a week and tell you some bullshit that my brother moved in and I can't move out there. But the fact of the matter is, I don't fucking agree with pesticides. I don't. It's stupid. There are flowers that do the same job a pesticide does So it completely, pesticides are completely unnecessary. And I'm not going to go on a money mission that jeopardizes the health of not only myself but Earth. And when my sole purpose could possibly be also to salvage it. And
you hear that, Miracle Pest Control? We're coming after you.
Yeah. And heal Earth. You know what I'm saying? That's what that's what we are. We're destroying this planet as a civilization as a whole.
Man. Listen to this shit. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
This is gonna sound fucked up, man, but I'm glad that shit happened to you.
Me too. I am too.
I think the universe works in ways that we don't understand. We can only seem to kind of fathom, to piece together little things that make sense, right? Yeah. And those things that make sense, those become the lessons, right?
Right.
It's so fucking weird how this shit happened, dude. So it was just revealed as of recently. Well, this move to California for you would have probably been the biggest move of your life. You would have moved to the fucking West Coast.
Yep.
Left everything you know, everything you've been fucking building. You would have sacrificed even your fucking morals. Mm-hmm. I know that if you didn't gain this experience of heartbreak and being fucked over in one of the worst ways imaginable, you would have took that fucking leap, man. Because I know you as a person. You fall hard, bro. You fall fucking hard. You would have taken that leap.
Extremist.
And that could have been the fucking leap that ruined your life, my friend.
And that's why I didn't. And that's why I'm not going. That right there. You
gained the fucking hyper awareness that you needed to not make that fucking move, man.
It was so
as fucking crazy as it sounds, you might want to thank Juan and Brianna. Yeah. You might want to thank the universe for that bullshit.
No, fuck those guys.
Yeah, fuck them.
Well,
he's like, whoa.
I'll tell you what was the deciding factor.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you what the deciding factor. And like I said, and you weren't prying earlier, and like I said, so the fact of the matter is that, you know, my family isn't perfect, right? I would love and rather stay in San Antonio and sit here and as long as it takes, however long it takes, I'm going to continue to attack the issues that are built within my family. I don't care about anything else. I care about myself and my family. And as long as my family has little holes and issues within our relationships, we're not going to grow as a family.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's no way. My parents have reached a plateau over the last 10 years and I know why, but they won't accept it. And so until they do, I'm going to attack it or involve it every which perspectively way that I can, or whatever the fact, you know, whichever way that I can possibly get them to understand what they're doing, I'm gonna continue to do that. So why am I gonna go out to California because I already don't fuck with my stepdad. Look, I love you, dog, but fuck you, bro. So I love my mom and fuck my real dad too. I love my mom to death, and honestly, she's
tell us how you really feel.
She's fucked up, bro. She's fucked up, but I love her because she's my fucking mom, bro.
Absolutely.
And she can hate me, bro, and I will still buy that woman a house before I buy myself a house. I promise you that right now. And it's just it's fact. So I'm not gonna go to California and help build this guy's kingdom before I even tried to help my family. You know what I'm saying?
21 and 20 years old.
That's
right
what
now
I'm
is
saying,
the most
bro.
important fucking time in our life.
That's what I'm saying.
Taking a left turn instead of a right turn could be the deciding factor for the rest of your fucking life.
Yes,
if you make that fucking move,
that's what I'm saying.
Even at 40 years old, your life would have been so fucking different.
So let me get this.
So the universe had to throw some heavy ass shit at you because whoever the fuck is watching.
No, I haven't even hit you with the heavy
Buddha,
shit yet, bro.
Go ahead.
I haven't. That shit is all that was slight work, bro. So my family has had falling outs before. I ran away when I was in high school. We ran into the next complex and they found me and I went back home. My younger brother did the same thing I did. Yeah. And then this most recent time he ran away a second time, right? And my parents were furious. They were furious, and they weren't trying to listen to why he did any of this. They were gonna just ready to punish, right? Ready to punish. When people run away, it's a cry for help, in my opinion. Yeah. There's an emotional issue, or there's a personal internal issue that we can't deal with, so we don't know what to do, so we run from it. We run, right? It's what a lot of humans do, or people. I keep saying humans like I'm not, but a lot of people do this.
A lot of you humans.
Fucking Mark Zuckerberg up in there.
Fuck that guy, bro. No, so my brother ran away, and I called him, and you know what I mean? And I said, look, bro, fuck everything. Let me pick you up, bro. I'll take you back to my crib. We can talk about all this. Let's get to the bottom of all this. We'll calm down and we'll chill, and then I'll take you home whenever you go home.
We got 5.
Okay. And he's like, I'm not going home. You know what I mean? Fuck it. I'm not going home. I said, okay, great. It's whatever deal. But, you know, I called my mom and said, look, I don't know where he's at. You know what I mean? But if I find him, I'll give him to I told him to dip from the school. I said, leave the school. I'm going to pick you up in the neighborhood next door. And so I said, my mom, I said, I don't know where he's at. He's not at the school anymore. She's like, I don't know where he's at. I call my stepdad. He doesn't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at. They both say, when you find him, call me. Sure. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Caleb, yeah, I'm coming to pick you up right now, but we're gonna go back to my crib.
Yeah.
So I go and I pick him up and we start talking, right? And the fact of the matter is, it was to the point where he was so fed up, he was gonna move in with me and my other brother, right? So we were gonna be, it was gonna be ridiculous. You know, he's 16, he shouldn't be doing that. He needs to be at home right now. He needs to finish high school before he does anything. Then he can go and do the things that he needs to do. It's important that everybody learns these types of lessons on their own. At the same time, you can try to learn from other people's mistakes too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, he was jumping into a situation that was too soon. At that moment, I decided I'm not gonna. With this going on, this is happening right now in my family. I cannot go to California. I need to be here.
Right.
I need to
Definitely.
be here. He ended up going back home and like he stayed with me 2 days and then went back home and everything's fine. Now then he even got kicked out of the school that he was in because the coach is a bitch. And Coach Closa, Danny Closa of Robert E. Lee High School in San Antonio, Texas, you're a fucking pussy, and I hope when I catch you, you're ready for it. So the fact of the matter is, and I'll be passive. I'm not gonna harm the guy. Trust me on that. I'm not gonna harm him. But
Don't incriminate yourself, dog.
his psyche is gonna be a little hurt by me because he
He's
jeopardized the
like,
life.
I'm not gonna hurt him with my fists.
Well, he jeopardized the
But with
life.
my
He
fucking
jeopardized the
words.
life of my brother because my brother has had multiple concussions, and then this most recent concussion that he had, my Coach Koza wasn't. Nobody was there. Nobody was present, but the weight room was open. The bottom line is, Caleb went back home. Right? Everything's fine. Now I'm in the same position I was 2 weeks ago when I said I was going to California, but I was already quick to make the decision that I'm not going because I'm, my family, right? So it's like, okay, well, he didn't really need you. He just needed you for 2 days. He didn't need you for the rest of this, year. Are you going to go now? No, because the fact that I even had the thought of not going and decided that I wasn't going to go because of this means that I shouldn't have been there anyways.
Absolutely.
And then deciding that opened up all those other, value or, different things that show me why I shouldn't go out there. So yes, I agree. That would have been my demise. If I would have went out there, it would have been my demise. It would have. And there's multiple moves you can make in life, multiple left turns that will be your demise. But that's what I'm saying. That's why you always have to be self-gauging or self-evaluating, self-analyzing on a consistent and accurate basis because you have to be aware of the decisions that you're making. You know what I'm saying?
You also got to realize all the bad things that happen, even though they suck in the moment, they happen to either teach you something or they happen because maybe you just need a push in that time. You know what I mean?
You
have to answer the call, man. You have to answer the fucking call.
Yep.
God damn.
That changed my life when I watched that video. Just to I know
which one?
The video you sent me, the call to action video. The guy who went and joined the service and was like motivating people to do the hearing their call to action, call to being a man and stuff.
Dude.
Yeah, that changed my life.
I'm glad you watched the video, man. I knew you'd really appreciate that shit.
It did.
Fuck yes, dude.
Thank you.
I liked the video you sent me about the guy who was pretending he was in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I like that one. That was a good one. Well, guys, fun, we could go on for 5 more hours. I don't think we have enough battery for it, though. So we'll start wrapping up. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of Break Time. Really appreciate you spending this time with us. Hopefully you got something out of it. I know we kind of talked a whole lot about... we got kind of deep in a lot of shit, and I hope you took away something from it. Like always, we hope you took something away from it. Before we end it, we want to thank Ethan very much for coming on. Thank you for gracing us. Thank you for doing a lot of talking, so me and Iman didn't have to. We're very tired. But no, we had a great conversation. We're glad you're here. We definitely want to have you back on at some point. Hopefully after we get to episode 50. Iman, before we end out this episode of Break Time, like always, is there anything you want to tell the good people?
Forever and always, man. I see you guys actually listening to what I'm saying and hitting me up wanting to be guests. Just know we have a lot of motherfuckers lined up. We have a lot of people in mind. So just keep sending in your requests to come
also
join
be
us.
Interesting.
Yeah,
we got some people that are asking, and I'm like, no.
Interesting. Look, just because we had a funny experience in high school, or we were friends in high school, does not mean you can come compete with this or Brooke or other guests we're gonna have on. You have to have some
brains. He has brains. Brooke had cleavage.
Come on, man. What do you bring to the table other than our friendship? Damn.
How
fucked up is that, right?
Yeah, right. You gotta bring your best cards to the table. You know what I mean?
We're fucking. It's content.
We're understanding the value of you and us.
And one last thing, people. A lot of people that I talked to about the podcast, I say they haven't seen the newest one. Not because they haven't been punctual and caught it or anything. It's because they feel like they have to watch it in chronological order. You don't have to watch all of our podcasts.
Whoa, they feel like they need to watch every single episode?
In chronological order.
That's some bullshit.
So they start at episode fucking 1. The dumb... You serious? That's over 50 hours.
Happens?
That's guys,
bullshit. It's not a chapter book, guys. Just come.
That's like going, oh, is this Law and Order season 8 episode 16? Fuck, man, can't do it. You guys started season 1 episode 1. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Fuck
it's
you.
weird. So you guys are really missing out on a lot of up to date, new, good content because you feel like you have to Netflix and chill this whole thing. No, you don't. But anyway, keep giving us feedback, keep tuning in, and we'll keep pushing this shit out for you, man. It's midnight. We worked all day. We don't give a fuck. We enjoy pleasing you guys, man.
Ethan, is there anything you want to say before we end out this episode?
Yeah, first I'd just like to say thank you so much for having me. It was when I say it was my pleasure, it was. You guys know, I've been looking forward to be on this podcast for a long time since I first heard about it, and I think serendipitably it happened when it was supposed to happen. Well, that's what serendipity means. But the fact of the matter is, it was beautiful, and I just like Alex said and like Iman says, I hope you guys took something from this. I hope you guys took the lessons that we have had to learn as men. Growing in this society, in the world that we live in, and you can apply them to your lives. Now, don't just focus on our situations, but take the concepts that we learned from these situations and apply those to your situations, okay? Because that's how you're going to make it through these times. When you feel like you're down or when you feel like you're up, it matters not. You always have to be ready and evolving and going on to what's next and what's coming forward, because nothing lasts forever, right? But everything lasts all the time.
That's an intense
Alrighty,
motherfucker,
guys.
yo. God damn.
Thank you very much for tuning in to this very serendipitous episode of Break Time.
Word of the day.
And remember, as always, you can always check out the link in the description to support our show by going to our Teespring shop if you want to support us in that way. But, guys, thank you very much, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Break Time.
Yeah.